Hello and welcome to our Betfred Rugby League Podcast. We are the proud sponsors of the Betfred Super League and this season the Championship and League One. And I'm delighted to welcome to the show four-time grand final winner Paul Sculthorpe. Scully, first of all, the weather has got to be a concern. It's beast from the east. We know the pitches have been covered, but the RFL have told us that the safety of spectators will be paramount.
Yes, obviously, it's the weather's horrendous at the moment, but there was plenty of notice, obviously, that this was coming, and I think most of the clubs have took the necessary precautions. But as you say, spectator safety is most important. And
how difficult, as a player, is it to prepare for these? Because obviously the pitches are frozen, your training pitches, so I presume you're working indoors, aren't you?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, a lot of the clubs now have access to the 4G pitches, so they can obviously get on that and do the field run. And there's plenty of them about now. If you don't have one throughout your club, you can get access to them. So as a player, you prepare as though the game's going ahead, and obviously you're mental on being on point on the game.
So fingers crossed we get all the matches this weekend, but watch out for postponements, of course. And like I said, the RFL has said that the pitches are covered in the Super League, but spectator safety will be paramount. Let's start by looking back at the weekend. Are Castleford back after that great victory against Hull?
It was a great win against Hull, and looking like the Cas of 2017. Obviously, they had a week off the week before. We spoke about it last week about Darryl Powell, getting them back on the training field and really just settling everything down. As I said, there's a lot of pressure on Cas this year, and he said they come up with some great tries. Michael Shenton crossing for two on that left wing, filling in the wing position, obviously without Greg Eden, and he had an outstanding game. So Castleford certainly look like they're getting that confidence back.
OK, let's look back at the highlights of Castleford versus Hull.
This is Shaw, just leaves it for Sneed, and Sneed will take them on. Sneed for the line, great try, wonderful work from Mark Sneed. Gale finds Holmes, Shenton, they're on fire! Here they come again then with Junior Moores, now it's with Luke Gale. Gale goes wide to Shenton, and Shenton scores! Go. Mickey Payer has breathed life into the whole challenge yet again. They won't go away, this lot.
So it finished 28-18 to Castleford, and Scully, that was a great home performance because last season they were outstanding at the Menderhose Jungle.
They were. It was a tough place to go and get the win, and as you said, this week against Hull was very much looked like the Castleford of last year, and a tough game as well against Hull FC, who are always a tough side to play against. Obviously, they're coming back on the back of the trip to Australia, and but Castleford, as I said, looking confident again.
And it's the other Hull for Castleford this week, live on Sky on Thursday night. They travel to Hull KR, and you just get the feeling it's going to be a long season for Hull KR, isn't it?
Yes, we spoke about last week the game against Salford. It's games like that if Hull KR have to achieve anything this year and certainly try and make that top 8, that they're games that they've got to win, and they were convincingly beaten by Salford.
They've obviously got real experience in there now with Danny Maguire. He's seen Ed done it. He'll be a key to lifting them, won't he?
It will be. I'm not sure if Danny's playing this week. He obviously was out injured and a massive loss for them last week. The big boost, Jamie Donaldson, he's back this week. We thought he'd be back last week, but Tim Sheens has said he's in the side for this week. So that's a massive boost for Hull KR going into this. But you've got to feel for him going against this Castleford side.
Fancy Castleford then?
I've got to go Castleford, yes.
OK, so that's live on Sky. Hull KR versus Castleford, and Scully's going for Castleford to make it 3 on the bounce after that awful performance in the opening game against St Helens. Let's turn our attention to Friday night now. Hull entertain Warrington, and Warrington, well, things have just turned a little, haven't they? And let's hear from their boss, Steve Price.
Yeah, different today. I've never encountered training in 100 mil of snow, and snowing while it was training, so it was different. It was a good experience. Boys enjoyed it. A couple of snow fights to start the session, so it's really important that we keep building from the good things we've carried out in the previous 2 weeks, coming up against a quality football team in Hull FC. they've won the last two Challenge Cups, and back at their home ground, it's going to be a tough game, and they've got a lot of good individual players. They've got a quality halfback and a big forward pack. So it's important that we we keep building on the really good things what we've done the previous 2 weeks, and bring a really solid defensive backbone come Friday night.
Steve Price there talking to Betfred TV. So that's 2 and a bounce for Warrington now. Obviously a great win against Wigan.
It was a great win. Sort of, we spoke about it's always a big game against Wigan, and we're seeing glimpses of Warrington what we thought they would be. I've seen a quote of somebody saying that's the best Warrington performance since the beginning of last year when they beat the Brisbane Broncos. So obviously getting back on track, and probably a great time to play Wigan as well. I know Sean Wayne's been quoted that don't use the jet lag and the trip to Australia as an excuse for that performance, but it certainly would have took toll on the players' legs. But Warrington, all they can do is play what's in front of them, and they certainly did that.
Is this game a bit of a barometer now for where Warrington might be? Because obviously we were disappointed in our opening game against Leeds, of 1-2 and a bounce. Hull away, this is more of a barometer where Warrington are at now, and obviously Steve Price had a bit longer with them.
It certainly is. It's going to be a mental challenge coming off the back of that win against Wigan and that high, to go over to Hull now, where it's always a tough place to go, and also see a response from Hull FC as well. I know Lee Radford's been calling for them. He's disappointed with their performances at the moment. So I expect a reaction from Hull FC, and this is going to be a great game.
Okay, how do you see it? I'm
going to go for a Warrington win. I think it'll be very, very close, and it is a tough place to go, is the KC. But I just think Warrington will try and build now on top of that, and I've got to give a special mention to their new signing, Bryson Goodwin, who's been absolutely tremendous for me. Even in the poor performances, he's been one who's rolled the sleeves up and dug in. So great signing for Warrington.
Live on Sky on Friday night, it's Wakefield versus Huddersfield. 3 out of 3 for Wakefield Trinity.
Yeah, they've we spoke about them through the pre-season, and they had a great season last year, and it was whether
away at the end, didn't it?
Yes, and whether they could carry on that this year, and they certainly have done. They've took a lot of confidence from making the top 4, or just being outside the top 4, from last year. But you look at their team throughout. We speak about it every week. There's such a big pack. They're a big physical side, but they've got some real strike as well. The likes of Reece Lynn and Tom Johnston, who's killing it on that left wing. So Wakefield are a tough place to play, and certainly back at home this week against their neighbours Huddersfield.
Obviously, Darryl Powell got Coach of the Year, fell short in the grand final, as we all know, but Chris Chester did a great job last year, and he's continuing it this year.
He's a great lad, Chesy. I'm fortunate to play alongside Chris, and he's a great fella, and that's half the battle as well. He's getting the players on side and wanting to play for you, and certainly he's very, very knowledgeable about the game, but he's a great fella as well, and doing a cracking job at Wakefield.
Also on Friday night, it's Leeds versus the Catalans, and of course Leeds beaten at Widnes.
Yes, Leeds will be disappointed with that, even though we spoke about Widnes, and they've set the season on fire at the moment. I think I'm really, really impressed with that side. They're a very young side, and I think with that, it brings a lot of enthusiasm, and that's what you're seeing in the Widnes performance. But Leeds, they've got injuries, and again coming on the back of that trip to Melbourne. But all credit to Widnes. But Leeds, they certainly face a challenge this week.
Well, I know you're happy about this. St Helens are top of the table at the moment. It's very, very early days, of course, and they're at home to Salford. And let's hear from the Saints coach, Justin Holbrook.
They had a great win on the weekend, and they were unlucky the week before against Wakefield. They nearly got them there, so they were disappointed round 1. So look, they're a physical side, and they'll come ready to play, that's for sure. But for us, we haven't played at home for 4 weeks, so I'm really looking forward to, as the boys are, to be back in front of our home fans. I think we're in for a cold snap. Well, it's already come. So if we get a good night, hopefully we can see some good open play.
Justin Holbrook talking to Betfred TV there. Well, you're going to enjoy this chat, aren't you? Because Saints are playing very well at the moment.
They are. I mean, sitting obviously top of the league at the moment, and again, looking confident in their performances. Not the best performance against Huddersfield, but I know it's a tough place to go. It's always a funny atmosphere at Huddersfield, and a game you've certainly got to go into mentally right. And they're a good side as well. But Saints obviously turned up and got the job done.
And Justin Holbrook really seems to be settling into the Betfred Super League, doesn't he?
Yeah, I spoke then about Chris Chester and what a good bloke he is, and Justin's no different. He's really the players have really bought into Justin, and he's again very, very knowledgeable about the game, and a great bloke who the boys want to play for. As I said, the squad carried on from last year. There's been very, very little changes at Saints over the past 2 years. So and they're performing.
Home win?
I've got to go for a home win, yeah.
And I know it's very, very early days, 3 games, 3 wins, but you just get the feeling Saints are going to be there at the business end of the season, don't you?
Yeah, I think you look at the squads and, you pick some key players. Obviously, we talk about Ben Barber. For me, James Roby, he's getting better year in, year out. And he's one who leads by example. He got outstanding player of Super League this week for that performance against Huddersfield, and they're certainly confident at the moment.
And the final fixture to finish off the Super League is Wigan versus Widnes. Of course, Widnes, that great win against Leeds. Wigan looking to bounce back after that performance against Warrington. Yeah,
Widnes will fancy the chances. It's away, it's at Wigan at the DW, but on current form and certainly Widnes' confidence at the moment is sky high, and no better time to play against Wigan. We said it last week about Wigan's performance against Warrington, just getting off the plane, but they're not playing well. And for me, they're still up in the air of this half-back role of where they play. And for me, Morgan Escaré is the most effective fullback when he's there. So whether they'll stick with Morgan there and move Sam Tompkins permanently to that half-back position and try and get some continuity in that position.
OK, so the Super League is back, and fingers crossed the Beast from the East doesn't put these fixtures in jeopardy. Right, hope you've enjoyed the podcast. Thanks so much to Paul Sculthorpe, and remember, please keep it fun, gamble responsibly.